Have you ever asked yourself why your buttons get pushed, or if you have a hand in that? Well, today my buttons were pushed, and I had recorded a different video earlier and decided not to post that one. The reason is because the situation in particular doesn't matter. It's what came of it or how I managed it differently that is what I want to share. So most of the time when our buttons get pushed or we get triggered, our sort of first instinct is to sort of argue for our rightness. We want to convince the other person to see our side or see our perspective. And, we're human. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But I think that there is a much greater opportunity to step into some self-awareness and even, evolution when we pause long enough to ask, what is it that I'm actually feeling? Why am I arguing, for my rightness? Why do I feel defensive? And I would venture to say that 9 times out of 10, there's something deeper going on inside, something that we haven't resolved within us. To be clear, our initial reactions aren't always wrong or bad. We don't have to give in or, invalidate our own feelings. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has more to do with these feelings of, if you're in a conversation with somebody and you're having conflict or tension or there's some, friction, so often there's layers to that. And when we're willing to look a little bit deeper, there can be things inside of us that haven't been resolved. In my case today, it had to do with some guilt I was feeling around a particular situation. And when I paused long enough or was willing to look inward and not just argue for my rightness, I realized, oh man, some of this defensiveness is actually my own reflection or reaction to the guilt that I'm feeling, the guilt that I'm carrying. That's my role in this, sort of tension. That's my responsibility. That's what I'm bringing to this conversation. And realizing that and owning it and acknowledging it was honestly the key to help me kind of disarm that emotion, kind of take the charge out of it. It wasn't an easy place to get to, because initially I was upset. And then the more I questioned where are all of these feelings coming from, the closer I got to this understanding about myself that, okay, there's some stuff going on in there that I know I haven't resolved and I haven't addressed. And that's really what's coming out of me right now. It felt actually liberating, and it was a helpful tool for me to give myself, instead of staying in that place of, I need to prove why I'm right, I need to get this person, to see my side. There's always going to be a little bit of that because, we're human. But I think the broader invitation that we can make to ourselves is to open our hearts and ask, what is my role in this conflict? What is my role in this crunchiness that I'm feeling? And when you can allow yourself to get in there a little bit and to be honest about it, it can be quite revealing and liberating and, actually peaceful when you get down to the heart of it. There's peace to be found in us, looking inward and realizing more and more about ourselves and how we operate. And I would just invite you to think about that the next time you might be having a tough communication with somebody. Be willing to look inward and not just outward.